Well, one thing about Good Morning Frederick is not only do I get to learn a lot of great things about our history, especially in and around Frederick County, but I also get to introduce you to a lot of great things about history in a fun way. And I've got Kirk Higgins from the Bill of Rights Institute. Thank you for joining us on Good Morning Frederick.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So I didn't even know Bill of Rights Institute was a thing. So maybe a little bit about this organization and your mission for people who might be interested.
Sure, we're a national educational organization that does history and civics education. So we provide free classroom resources and professional development to teachers across the country. And we've been doing that since 1999, which is pretty incredible.
That's awesome. So if there are even if people are like doing homeschool co-ops or local teachers who might want some resources for their classroom, and I know the school systems kind of control a lot of that, but if you are at an independent school, maybe even a childcare facility, you guys have materials for what age groups?
Right, so we have from really K to 12, but mostly from third grade up through 12th grade. They're
Okay.
all free resources, all available online at our website, billofrightsinstitute.org. And yeah, we're just excited to equip teachers and students to live the ideals of a free society. That's our whole mission and focus.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Now tell me a little bit about yourself. So, how long have you been at the Bill of Rights Institute and what is your background?
So I'm a historian, and so have taken way too many history classes. And I've been at the Bill of Rights Institute for 11 years now, which is pretty incredible. So I've had the opportunity to work on a bunch of different projects, including our new government textbook that we just released this year.
Oh, that is phenomenal. Well, I'm sure your parents are proud that you're using that history, uh, all of that historical knowledge. Look, I think it's amazing. I think knowing our history is so important. What do they say? If you don't, you're doomed to repeat it. And I think it's kind of one of those things that we know is there, and unless we're maybe going to the museums or hitting the battlegrounds around Frederick County or beyond, we kind of forget about it. So everyone who wants to can come on to the Bill of Rights Institute website, and can they get information there as well?
Yeah, they can find out about us. They can get lesson plans and material they can take straight to their classroom. And then we also have a YouTube channel too that you can access our content, find out stories, even stories about the Declaration of Independence, which is coming up.
Well, I love that. And of course, we've got our country's independence coming up this week on Friday, the eve of the big one, of course, our 250th, which will be next year. Tell me a little bit about, or maybe if there's something we don't commonly think about with our Independence Day, or maybe some a little bit tidbit of trivia for people who might be interested.
Sure. Yeah. So we're coming up on Independence Day, but of course, Independence Day came after nearly a decade of debate and conversation over British rule in the colonies, starting all the way back after 1763, the conclusion of the French and Indian War. And even this year, so next year is the 250th anniversary, but this year is 250 years since 1775, when things were taking place. So famously, the Olive Branch Petition, sort of our last outreach to the king, George III, in hopes of coming to some kind of reconciliation between Great Britain and the colonies happened. So that was 250 years ago. And it all leads up to this big moment in July of 1776 when the Continental Congress, Second Continental Congress, finally votes to actually break with Great Britain and declare independence for the United States.
Yeah, pretty incredible when you think about it. There were no quick decisions as far as this was concerned. I think we kind of did like parents do with their kids. I'm going to count to three about seven times. And then we decided, okay, well, it might be best for us to move on our own. And then there was obviously a lot of time between that and then forming our own real independence. So it's really incredible what these founding fathers did for our country. If someone wanted to kind of get a little quick refresher, what do you recommend somebody might look into, maybe read, or any videos that they should watch just to kind of get that refresher?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, I would read the Declaration of Independence, which is it's a wonderful thing to do. It's a beautiful document, beautifully written by Thomas Jefferson with the help of others, including Benjamin Franklin and John Adams. But if you're looking for a quick read, maybe for the beach, David McCullough's 1776 is an excellent book. Takes you through that dramatic year, everything that was happening, both with the Declaration itself, but also going on with the Army, with Washington leading the Army outside of Boston and up into New York State, and then all the way up through the end of the year with the crossing of the Delaware, which also happened in 1776.
All right. And who is that handsome gentleman on the wall behind you?
That actually is my great 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 grandfather, and so I was given this by my grandmother after she passed. His name is William Borland, so he's an interesting guy himself. Was involved in politics in the state of Michigan.
That is pretty incredible. So let me ask you, when did your love of history start? Was this something your family really celebrated, and so as growing up it was just kind of a part of things, or what made you fall in love with history?
Yeah, it's always made me tick. And I remember my dad taking me to. I grew up in Indiana, but we did make treks out here to the East Coast. And I remember going to many Civil War battlefields and museums. But it's always something that stuck with me. From my earliest memories are in the second grade. I was fascinated by the Battle of Midway for some reason, which took
Okay.
place in 1942 in World War II. And so anyway, it's always stuck with me. Always been a part of what made me tick, and I have my father to thank for that. But yeah, I guess I've taken it way more seriously than he ever anticipated.
Well, look, hey, like I say, if you can make a living off your love of something, you're not working ever at all. So we love that. The Bill of Rights Institute, check it out, get information. I don't know. Look, I haven't read the Declaration of Independence since I was doing tours and we'd go to Philadelphia and we would be talking about that a lot. I think it is something we should all refresh. That and the Constitution. I think it's so vital for us to understand a how our country was founded and all of this that forethought that people put into it, and secondly to understand what our rights are as citizens. I think it's so important because I think when you know that, you may have a differing opinion about some of the things happening in our country and how our founding fathers kind of set aside certain things for us. So I think it's really vital. And if you can bring it into your schools, or if you have independent schools or private schools as well, utilize the resources these guys have taken a lot of time to put together. We really appreciate you joining us today. And we're certainly going to have you back leading up to the 250.
I'll look forward to it.
Thank you so much, Kirk.
Thank you.